I'm Carolyn King. I am the course coordinator for the Associate Degree in Applied Health and Community Support at the University College at the University of Tasmania. The course itself it's a new course from the University College at the University of Tasmania, and it's an associate degree in applied health and community support, which is a huge mouthful. But we actually went out into industry to get some advice on what they wanted this course to be called. So that was sort of where we landed. And being an associate degree, it's a 2-year course, so it's a pre-bachelor degree. And it's an applied course, which means that the intention is for students to come out job ready, to be able to hit the ground running with skills that they can apply in practice. And our students can work in a whole range of industries working with people, and so that would include in aged care, disability, mental health, working with families, working with in domestic violence. And because it's a university qualification, we are looking for students to really up their skills around leadership and those sorts of things, and management, moving into those higher level roles like team leaders and supervisors and coordinators. And this is really the biggest gap that we were told exists in these sectors. And what often happens in these organisations is they identify people who are talented and they promote them, but there's no training within that promotion process. And so people end up going from being a peer to being above another person, for example, that they're working with, but there's no skill development around how do you deal with that, how do you become a leader in that environment and be comfortable with that, and what skills do you need to even perform those sorts of roles. Yeah, it's been a really, really positive experience, and what it's really done for us, because we were in a development phase of our course at the same time as integrating the material from Frontline Mind, and it really forced us to ask some pretty significant questions of what we were trying to achieve with our course. And I feel like we evolved in a better way as a result of those materials and integrating them and having some important conversations around how best to pitch the content, how best to set it up in a way that our students were going to come out being able to apply it, because this is an applied course and we need them to come out with skills that they can use when they come into the workforce. What was great about Frontline Mind was that they were willing to work with us on tailoring the material for our needs. The online materials were supplemented by some excellent materials that we could use in our face-to-face workshops. An example was it was really a workshop piece, but it sort of evolved into a multiple sort of touch points with our students over the course of 10 weeks. And that was really around sort of leadership and for our students to consider themselves in a leadership role as a team leader. And it was really a transformational experience for our students who often came in having never experienced an interview situation. They were often really quite anxious about that environment, but the capacity for them to be on both sides of the table as interviewers and interviewees really empowered them to understand the interview dynamics, the process of feedback and how positive that can be and how useful that can be. And often they reached the end of this day of interviews and they were often glowing, and they'd come out with this sort of new confidence in themselves and their ability to engage in that environment. The feedback we're getting is amazing. So we're actually in contact with the students themselves who are reporting that they have landed, some of them, their dream jobs. We had this fantastic story from a student of ours up in the northwest who had been trying to get into a role in disability for years and years and years and hadn't managed to. And then after doing our course, in fact it was towards the end of our course, so he hadn't even graduated yet, he applied for 10 roles, he got 5 interviews and he was offered 5 jobs. And the job that he took, within 3 weeks, he was made team leader. We've talked to employers about the quality of the graduates, and we've got, again, some fantastic feedback. A lot of it's unsolicited, so people just coming to us saying, I just wanted to let you know, I know your course is having an impact because I'm listening to my staff and they're using your terminology. They are saying things and doing things they've never done before. They've been here for 5 years and now I'm seeing them taking on these roles, putting their hand up for things they would never normally do. But also being able to manage their own emotional responses and all of those sorts of things around resilience, etc., that we think is super important. So that was really encouraging to hear those types of things. So Frontline Mind has really presented themselves as a dynamic space. So they have a whole range of really high quality materials, but they've also presented themselves as being adaptable and being interested in evolving as well. I would say to anyone who's interested in working with Frontline Mind, and it could be an educational institution, but I can sort of see application in a whole range of other areas, to go in with an open mind as to what you can achieve, because I think Frontline Mind has such capacity to enrich an educational experience that if you go in with a very sort of narrow focus, I think you can miss a whole range of really important conversations around what the potential is. And so I would encourage people to come in with an open mind, but also to have some specifics that they want to gain in terms of outcomes, because those conversations that we had around what our intention was, what we wanted students to come out with, really did drive the engagement and the integration of our material as well.